The tinny voice from my phone speaker sliced through the quiet peace of the nursery, each word a shard of ice. My 3-week-old daughter, Maya, was asleep on my chest, her tiny breaths, a gentle rhythm against the sudden chaos erupting in my ears. "Sarah, hi. It's Brenda," the voice chirped, far too brightly. "Listen, just a heads up. We've had to make some tough calls with the Q4 budget realignments. Long story short, your role as head of digital campaigns has been disestablished, effective immediately. All your project budgets are being absorbed by the new Markham Strategy Unit. Chloe Armitage will be taking over leadership there. She's got some fresh ideas. HR will be in touch about the formalities. All the best." A click, then silence. Disestablished. My role. While I was on statutory parental leave, a right enshrined in New Zealand law. My budget, meticulously planned for projects I'd championed, now handed to Chloe, Brenda's notoriously inept best friend, whose fresh ideas usually involved more corporate jargon and less actual results. I looked down at Maya, her small face serene, oblivious to the bomb that had just detonated in her mother's career. A cold, clear anger, sharp and pure, cut through the initial shock. This wasn't just business. This was a calculated personal betrayal, executed with cowardly malice via voicemail. Brenda thought I'd be too overwhelmed with a newborn, too tired, too maternal to fight back. She thought I'd just fade away. I carefully shifted Maya into her bassinet, my movements precise, deliberate. I picked up my phone, my fingers steady. I navigated to the voicemail, listened to it one more time to sear the exact phrasing into my memory, then typed a reply to Brenda's work email address, which I knew she monitored obsessively. Noted. That was all. No outrage, no questions, no pleading, just noted. Let her wonder, let her think I was defeated. Because I knew my rights under the Employment Relations Act, 2000. I knew that in New Zealand, your job, or an equivalent one, is protected while you're on parental leave unless there's a genuine, unavoidable redundancy. And replacing me with her best mate while simply renaming the department was about as far from a genuine redundancy as Auckland is from Antarctica. The first call wasn't to HR, it was to Anya Sharma, one of Auckland's sharpest employment lawyers. I'd kept her details from a workshop she'd run for senior women in tech a year ago. As I explained the situation, Anya's responses were crisp and affirmative. Blatant personal grievance, Sarah. Discriminatory dismissal due to parental status. Sham redundancy. Brenda's handed this to us on a silver platter. What's the company's name again? Cowrie Digital, I told her. Mid-sized, trying to play with the big boys. The CEO, Jonathan Royce, is usually quite risk-averse. Good to know, Anya said. We won't just go for reinstatement or a payout, Sarah. We'll go for accountability. This kind of behavior needs a spotlight. Over the next few days, while juggling Maya's feeding schedule and nappy changes, I worked with Anya. I provided every email, every performance review, all stellar, every project plan related to my disestablished role. I detailed the significant upcoming Project Voyager, a nationwide campaign for our largest client, Tourism Aotearoa, which I had personally secured and designed the initial strategy for. It was complex, data-driven, and due to enter its critical execution phase in weeks. Chloe Armitage wouldn't know where to begin. My budget, I discovered through a discreet contact still within Cowrie Digital, hadn't just been absorbed. A significant portion allocated for Voyager's targeted analytics had been rerouted by Brenda to fund a brand refresh initiative for Chloe to lead. Essentially new logos and a fluffier mission statement, a classic Chloe move. This wasn't just illegal, it was strategically idiotic and put a multi-million-dollar client at risk. Anya drafted a letter. It wasn't addressed to Brenda. It was addressed to Jonathan Royce, CEO of Cowrie Digital, with copies to the entire board of directors and the head of HR, who, I suspected, Brenda had likely bulldozed or misled. The letter was a masterpiece of legal precision. It laid out the undeniable breaches of employment law, the discriminatory nature of my dismissal, the transparent sham of the redundancy, and the potential for severe financial and reputational damage to Cowrie Digital, not only from an Employment Relations Authority ruling, but also from the inevitable fallout of Project Voyager's mismanagement. It highlighted the specific risk to the Tourism Aotearoa account, referencing my key role and the sudden, unexplained redirection of vital project funds. We didn't threaten to go to the media. We didn't need to. The implication was clear. I imagined Brenda's face when Royce, or worse, a board member, forwarded her that letter. The sheer, unadulterated panic. The moment she realized her petty, cruel power play was about to unravel spectacularly. The noted would suddenly make chilling sense. It was far too late for her to simply apologize or try to smooth things over. The gears were already in motion, far above her pay grade. The call came 3 days after Anya's letter was couriered. Not from Brenda. It was Jonathan Royce himself. His voice was strained, apologetic. "Sarah, I am profoundly sorry this has happened. I was unaware of the full circumstances. Brenda's handling of this situation was unacceptable. We are taking this extremely seriously." He proposed a meeting. Anya and I attended. Brenda was there, looking pale and diminished. Chloe was conspicuously absent. The head of HR, a man named Gavin, looked like he hadn't slept. Royce did most of the talking. He didn't try to defend Brenda's actions. He couldn't. The evidence was irrefutable. Brenda sat silently, occasionally shooting me a venomous glare that I met with calm indifference. Anya laid out our terms, full reinstatement to my role, with my original title, reporting line, and budget restored immediately. Full back pay for the period, including my KiwiSaver contributions. A formal, written apology from Brenda, CC'd, to the board. And substantial compensation for humiliation, loss of dignity, and injury to feelings, as per the act. There was a pause. Then Royce added something unexpected. "We also believe, Sarah, given your strategic importance to Project Voyager and other key initiatives, that a promotion to Director of Digital Strategy is warranted, with an appropriate salary increase and an expanded team, reporting directly to me. Brenda will be moving to a different role, outside of marketing, pending a full internal review of her management practices." My eyebrows rose slightly. This was more than I'd anticipated. Brenda's face was a mask of fury, but she remained silent, clearly under strict instructions. Anya and I exchanged a quick glance. And, Royce continued, "We understand that Chloe Armitage's appointment was precipitous. Her contract will be reviewed, and Project Voyager's original budget and leadership will be immediately restored to your oversight. It was a complete capitulation. More than that, it was a recognition of my value, a stark contrast to Brenda's attempt to erase me. The too late for Brenda wasn't just that she couldn't stop the legal letter. It was too late for her reputation, too late for her to salvage her authority, too late for her to undo the damage she'd inflicted upon herself. She had underestimated me, assuming maternal leave equated to weakness. She'd forgotten I was a strategist, not just in marketing, but in navigating corporate treachery. Weeks later, I walked back into Cowrie Digital, not to my old desk, but to a new, larger office. Maya was thriving with a wonderful nanny, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Project Voyager, under my resumed leadership, was back on track. Tourism Aotearoa, once subtly informed by Royce himself of the internal restructuring to ensure project success, was reassured. Brenda was gone, reassigned to a remote special projects role that everyone knew was a prelude to her quiet exit. Chloe Armitage had mysteriously resigned to pursue other opportunities days after my return. The office buzz was that she couldn't handle the complexities of the actual work once the protective shield of Brenda's favoritism vanished. My noted had been the quiet prelude to a meticulously executed countermove. Brenda had thought she was closing a door on my career. Instead, she'd opened a much bigger one for me, and in doing so, slammed one shut on her own. The satisfaction wasn't just in the victory, but in the knowledge that I had stood up for my rights, protected my professional integrity, and ensured that such blatant disregard for the law and basic decency did not go unchallenged. And every time I saw Jonathan Royce, he'd give a small, respectful nod, a silent acknowledgement of the woman who hadn't gone quietly. And that was my story. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments section. And please, if you haven't done so yet, kindly subscribe. I'll see you in the next story from my Betrayal Diaries.